they proved a number of things. First things first, I will say they proved me wrong. Classic 3.
Rare.
It is rare, but that's why it has to be acknowledged. I doubted them every step of the way, not meaning I picked against them in each round, but I'll be honest, there were a lot of teams in the East that if they were healthy, I would have picked to beat them.
I was going to say, did you pick them to get to the final? I don't remember.
I did.
Everybody
once we
hurt.
saw all the injuries.
Right.
You know what I mean? Once all but I doubted them. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that I would have been correct that if those teams were healthy. I'm saying I doubted them. I picked against them in the finals, and if Minnesota had made it, I would have picked against them. If Denver had made it, I would have picked against them. I was wrong because I overemphasized how good their best was and underemphasized I overemphasized the importance of how good their best was and underemphasized the importance of their 1 through 5. So I'm going to give you a fact that is unbelievable, and then I'm going to show you a comp. The worst 5-game stretch as far as scoring goes, Boston had all year, were the 5 games in the finals. They all regular season, they didn't score fewer than 540 over a 5-game stretch. All playoffs before the finals, they didn't score fewer than 538 in a 5-game stretch. They scored 508 points, and they rolled. Yeah. They had their worst offensive stretch of the season at theoretically the worst time, and they won pretty easily. You know what I mean? As far as 4-1 and dominated big stretches of every game really, except for game 4. And the comp that Brew first mentioned, now that we have seen the finals performance, let's look to the last team to win a title where their best player, we don't even know necessarily who it is, but their 5-man team is excellent. And it's almost point for point. Just take 3 away from White and give them to Horford, and the Horford thing's weird because he was a reserve, then he became a starter, and you know what I mean? And to be,
you know what else, Nick? That says a lot because that was obviously an era when scoring was way down. And this is way up.
Right, so they defense and selflessness won the day. I did think in the second half, it was a nice place to be in. Second half of last night's game, I did think Tatum and Brown were kind of taking turns trying to steal finals MVP from each other, but in a not in a bad way. Yeah. It was, we have such control of the game, we can do it. And so and when you talk about them being built out as a team, they even have a guy whose role is half-court buzzer beaters. I'm joking, but not really joking. It's like Peyton. And Mike Breen, great job by him, calling it out, saying he loves these, he practices these. He obviously has a bigger role than that, but for Peyton Pritchard to be like, hey, it's the finals, your minutes are going to be cut significantly, but we are going to use you in this thing we know you're uniquely great at. And for him to hit 2, first player in NBA Finals history to do anything like that, it speaks to, you're right, Missoula I owe an apology to. I don't feel like I owe an apology to many people. You can be wrong and I owe apologies. I do owe an apology to Joe Missoula. I was very hard on him last year, and I doubted whether or not he could grow from what I thought were obvious mistakes. And the team loves him. He pressed the right buttons. I thought the Chris Stapps playing yesterday could have blown up on him. It didn't.
Willis Reed-esque, though.
Right. And so they are an excellent team by the truest definition of team.